So I have been actively disobedient because I was given a heavy, heavy burden in my heart that it's time for me to go back to work, right? And I loved working. I felt a sense of accomplishment in working. I felt a sense of pride in working. So when I became a stay-at-home mom, at first it was really hard for me, but I believe honestly that I was put in this season as a stay-at-home mom to humble myself and to refine myself and to go into hiding and for God to really work on me in this season, right? And so I was given the burden, it's time for me to go back to work, and so I prayed on it, whatever, and I got confirmations that it's time for me to go back into doing hair. And I've been doing hair like my whole life. I started doing hair in my parents' basement when I was 10, to the point like my mom's friends would come and get their hair done by me, and I'm like 10. And so when I was in high school and it was time for me to start choosing a career and like deciding whether I'm going to college, I remember telling my parents like, yeah, I want to go do hair. I don't want to go to college. And they told me no. They're like, you're too smart to just do hair, as if it was like, I don't know. They were trying to look out for me, right? So I went into finance and I hated it because corporate is not for me. It's not for me. And so in the meantime, you know, between college and where I'm at now, I've started multiple businesses, and some of them actually like made money, and like people knew about them, and I would get like referrals, and they would do well, but they would fail for reasons out of my control, like COVID, right? And so I kind of like when I received this burden and it's time for me to go back to work, I let imposter syndrome sneak in because it's like, okay, I haven't done hair for money in like a long time. Like I do my hair. Don't look at my hair right now. I need it to retwist, but whatever. I do my hair. I do my baby girl's hair. Like I might do my mom's hair, my sister's hair, brother. He has locks too. I might do like cousin's hair, something like that. But like as far as like taking clients, I haven't done that in a long time, and I haven't kept up with like the newest trends in like braiding, locks, stuff like that. Whatever. I know. And so, I let imposter syndrome sneak in because I'm like, okay, what if I don't have the skills to make this successful, right? And I talked to my best friend about it, and she cussed me out, as she should. And she's like, all the times that God has given you direction and you've been obedient, and He literally came through with a miracle just for you taking an inch into the territory of obedience, like just dipping your toe into the territory of obedience, not even making any major leaps and bounds, not doing anything major, just hearing the whisper, like go talk to this person, and talking to them and the things that will come of that, right? And she just had to remind me like who God is and what God has done. And I had to remind myself of that, of all the things that God has done when I took a step in obedience. And I so appreciate God for when I came back to Christ and establishing a track record of being faithful to me in my obedience and when I'm obedient, and showing me what He does for you when you're obedient to Him, so that when it's time for me to make major decisions like going back to work and getting back into a career, something that's more public aside from being obedient privately, He's established a track record of being faithful and maintaining and providing privately. So now it's time for me to make that step publicly, and I was just so nervous about it because I was relying on my own strength, and that's where the problem was. And so I know there are people who are stagnant and not making decisions that they know that they should make out of fear. But what I had to do is remember all the other times that God has asked me to make a step in obedience, and all the times He's carried me when I made a step, a single step in obedience. So that's, so further along the story, I prayed on it, I'm supposed to be doing it here, boom. So I'm like, okay, God, where am I supposed to work? Like, where should I go, right? And He showed me, like, where I should be. And so I made that step. And the confirmations that I received along the way, like, okay, you did the right thing, right? And I just appreciate that He just doesn't leave you hanging, man. Like, when He tells you to do something, He doesn't leave you hanging. And it's just mind-blowing to me. So I make this video to encourage you. If there's a step that you know you should be taking for fear out of being successful, because that's really what it was for me. It was, what if I make it? Like, what if? And it's not just the what if I make it that scares me. It's the what if I make it and can't maintain it. And that's the problem. It was me just thinking about it all in my own strength. Not thinking about, okay, if God has given this to me, it's not mine to maintain. And He put me in this season of being a stay-at-home mom and like relying on Him and building a relationship with Him to show me that He got me, right? And so now it's time for me to rely on Him fully in this next step in my life. Oh, it is scary. It is scary, but that's just where we at. So, the whole point of this channel is because when I came back to Christ, like, the things that I've seen Him do, I just feel like I have to share. You know what I mean? And like, there's people in my life who haven't necessarily come back to Christ yet. And if they have, they're not in it like I'm in it. You know what I mean? And so like, me talking about Jesus all the time can get to be a lot. So that's why I'm making this video, to share, like, just make the step and rely on Him fully. And remember all the times that He's come through for you when you made obedient steps. And just know that He's going to do it again. He's a consistent God. He's a consistent God. Talking to myself too. So that's all I've got. Thank you for watching. Bye.